It sure seems like it's time for 89-year-old Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein to step down. That's not ageism. It's a realistic statement about a veteran senator's capability to do the job. Early last month, Senator Feinstein was hospitalized for a shingles virus treatment. She was released a few days later, but is yet to return to the Capitol. At 89, her health is declining. That's sad, but that happens as you get older. But her age isn't the issue. The problem is her absence is having a huge impact on the Senate and in particular the Judiciary Committee. As of March 29th, the U.S. Senate has confirmed 118 judges nominated by President Biden. It's a pretty solid pace in his third year. But it's slowed down due to medical absences. Now, whichever party you are a member of, filling judicial vacancies should be a priority. I felt that way under President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Trump, and now President Biden. Feinstein has missed 60 of the 82 votes taken in the Senate so far this year. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, of those she missed, 25 were for judicial nominees. Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Dick Durbin acknowledged it, telling CNN, quote, "I can't consider nominees in these circumstances because a tie vote is a losing vote in committee. The committee needs to vote to send judicial nominations to the full Senate, and on the panel, Democrats hold an 11-10 advantage. Without Feinstein, the partisan breakdown is 10-10, which complicates things." So with both Senator Feinstein and Senator John Fetterman, who was hospitalized for treatment for clinical depression, out for medical reasons, Democrats, who hold a 51-49 majority in the Senate, have been limited to 49 members. Now, there is certainly an argument from the right that they'd rather hold up judicial nominations than push forward with judges supported by this administration. Fair enough. But the lack of Feinstein's presence doesn't just impact the Judiciary Committee. She also serves on the Appropriations Committee, the Rules and Administrations Committee, the Select Committee on Intelligence. And Feinstein, who is the oldest sitting senator, having served since 1992, has said she expects to finish out the remainder of her term, which ends in January of 2025, not exactly around the corner. Look, if Feinstein does return, it's not unreasonable to think something like this could very well happen again. For the sake of the functionality of the Senate, it sure seems like it's time for her to take the issue into her own hands and seriously consider resigning. Joining me now is former Georgia Republican Congressman Bob Barr. He served as a senior member of the House Judiciary Committee. Thanks so much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. All right, so what do you make of this? Do you think it's time for Senator Feinstein to resign?
It sure seems like it. You know, I served for several years with Chuck Schumer when he was in the House on the Judiciary Committee. And I have to tell you that if there were a way to get around this issue, Chuck Schumer would have found it. He's a very smart, wily politician. He knows the rules of the Senate. There simply, though, is no way to get around it. So long as Senator Feinstein does not resign from her seat, then he is stuck with that absence on the key committee for confirming judicial nominees, which, after all, is, in my view, the most important responsibility that the Senate has that the House doesn't have.
And is this a partisan issue? I mean, do you think the case that Republicans are thrilled to have her on the committee and not appearing, and Democrats at this point would like her to resign, or is that too simplistic?
It's not too simplistic, but I think that most of the Republicans, particularly on the Judiciary Committee, know that these things can come back on your side of the aisle just as easily as they could rear their ugly head on the other side. So if, in fact, the Republicans, understandably, might be delighted that President Biden's judicial nominees are being held up by the lack of a majority on the Judiciary Committee, if they delight in it too openly, it wouldn't surprise me if they have a problem later on, or maybe even fairly soon, in which they might have an elderly member of the committee who might get sick or have an accident and not be there. And that would make it a lot easier for the Democrats to work their will.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.